Hey everyone, welcome back to another Creative Tap tutorial. I've got quite an exciting one today. We're going to be looking at how to make swing-in text inside of After Effects. So something like this. So you can use this in anything, an intro to your channel, a kinetic typography video, anything really. So as you can see, they all swing in and they're a bit offset as well. And I've got these sort of dashes just separating them out, just making it look a bit nicer. So this is what we're going to be doing. So let's dive on in. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything in here because this is where I've got my composition working, but I want to start again and show you from scratch. So let's delete that. Right, so first of all, I'm going to go, I've made a new composition, obviously. Let's call this text 2. May as well have not deleted all that now. But there you go, new composition. So next I'm going to go Layer, New and Solid. And if you wanted to follow along with specific colours, these are the colours that I'm using, 6975A6. Click OK, and let's just call this BG for background, and click OK, and there you go, that's there. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating my text. So I'm going to type in creative, creative first of all. What I'm going to do once I've got this selected is come to my character palette, and if I hit this icon by here, it'll change them all to capitals, okay? And it's just that's a creative decision that I want to take along with this because they swing in. I'm going to animate it swinging in as a word, and when you've got some letters that like are lower than the capitals and the T's, I just find it works better if you have more caps. So that's what I'm going to do. Next word is going to be tap, and again that's automatically defaulted to all caps now. I'll move that here, and the last word is going to be tutorials. Now obviously you use whatever words you want to use, and have however many you want to, and lay them out however you want to. I actually prefer the words I used before, they sort of were laid out a little bit better, but I'm going to go with this. Okay, so I've got my 3 words, creative, tap, tutorials. Now move creative to the top and then tap just below. There we go. First thing I want to do is I want to draw in those lines, so the sort of dotted lines in between. So I'm going to make sure no layers are selected, and I'm going to get my pen tool. I'm going to click just by here and then hold shift and click over here, so we've got a straight line. Now I've got a blue on there, but I don't want a blue, so I'm going to change the colour of my stroke to, I'm going to source this purple background, and then I'm going to come a little darker, like so. So the number I'm using there is 515979, so if you wanted to, you can pause it and copy those same numbers, so you get the same colours. Once I've made this line, I'm going to come into the drop down of the contents, come into shape 1, let's rename this first of all, let's rename this to line 1 or line top so we know which one it is. Come into the stroke and come down to the dashes, or no, sorry, click plus on the dashes and it'll change this to all dashes now, and I'm going to increase this to 30. Okay, and that just makes them a little bit bigger. There we go. How about maybe 40? Let's see how that works. Yeah, I think that's better actually. Cool, so we've done that. Now I'm going to collapse these, and I'm going to click line top and hit Control D, and that's duplicated it, okay? So I'm going to make sure my selection tool is selected, and now with line top 2, let's rename it first to line bottom. So with line bottom selected, I can hit my down key and hold shift to jump as well, and I'm going to move it down here, and I may offset it slightly like so, and offset them. And there you go, I've got that basic layout now. So yeah, we've got our lines drawn in. They're not perfect. I'd have mine a little bit shorter if I had time, but I'm not going to go into that, to be honest. I want to show you how to do the swinging thing. So we're going to rename this shape layer to lines, and I'm going to collapse this and I'm going to lock it, okay, because I don't want to do anything more with this now. Then I'm going to go with my background, I'm going to lock that one as well because we're finished with them for now. So first of all, let's select the 3 layers by clicking the top and then holding shift and clicking the bottom, and we want to make them 3D. So if you can't see this icon, just click toggle switches and it'll pop up. So I'm going to make these 3D. And now these are 3D, and they've all got a little gizmo at the bottom. Now, if I were to come into the word creative and hit R, I've got more rotation options. So it's X that we're going to rotate it around, okay? But if we start clicking and dragging, you can see it's going along the bottom, and that's because our anchor point is at the bottom. So what we need to do is get this pan behind tool, grab your anchor point, and move it up. And if you hold Control, it'll snap to the top, okay? So now when we do the X rotation, you can see it swings from the top, so we can animate this now. So before I do animate that, I'm just going to move all of the anchor points, drag them, hold in Control, and snap them to the top so all of them are set up, okay? So click, hold Control, and we're set up. Right, so let's come back to the word creative. Let's get our selection tool. And I'm going to go for X rotation, and I'm going to bring this back until it's all the way up to about there, plus 99, and I'm going to set a keyframe. I'm going to come forward about 10 frames, and then I'm going to swing this from plus 99 all the way back down to about minus 50. So let's type in minus 50. Okay, then I'm going to come forward about 9 keyframes, and then I'm going to put this to 40. Then I'm going to come forward about 8 keyframes. I didn't count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And go to minus 30. And you can see we swing a little less further each time, and it takes shorter, and there's shorter time between each keyframe, and that's called decay, because as something swings, it loses momentum eventually, and it does decay. So that's what we're doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, okay, so we went from plus 40 to minus 30 in 8, and we're going to come forward 7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and come to plus 20. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, come to minus 10. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come to plus, I'm going to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, come to minus 3. 1, 2, 3, come to plus 1.5. Let's just see how this works. And then 1, 2, come to 0. Okay, so I've got this sort of decaying swing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my work area up to around 3 seconds, and I'm going to give this a RAM preview and just see how it feels. Okay, so we've definitely got that rate of decay there, but it's very rigid at the moment. It's almost like when it swings forward, it immediately goes backwards instead of kind of easing backwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our keyframes and hit F9, okay, and that's going to ease our keyframes. So it's got that sort of easiness to it. And now you can see it's definitely got that nice little swing to it. And then it comes to a stop. So we've animated that now, but if we were to go to the first frame, there's a chance, yeah, you can see, you may not be able to see it, but there's a very thin red line, okay, where we can see the text. So all I'm going to do is hit T. On the first frame, I want the opacity to be 0, so we can't see it. Set a keyframe. Come forward 1 frame by hitting page down, and then I'm going to set it to 100. Okay, I'm also going to turn on, so if we come here, I'm going to turn on motion blur for the layer, and if you can't see that, just toggle switches again. And I'm also going to turn it on for the composition. And you can see, if you focus on the bottom of the letters, as I turn it on for the composition, it's got that little motion sort of blur to it. So as it swings in, it'll just sell the motion further, okay? Now, the hard work's done. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is a 3D layer, the anchor point's at the top for tap. I'll come to the beginning, copy and paste these keyframes. And if I hit U now on the layer, they've got the exact same thing. The opacity and rotation keyframes are on there. So I'm going to come back to the beginning and do the same for the last word. Control V or Command V. And if I hit U, I can see the keyframes are there. So now, when I play it through, they all come in together, which is great. But we don't want them coming in together. Or you may, but I don't. I want to offset them each by about 10 frames. So there's 2 ways we can do this. We can either drag plus 10 frames plus another 10 frames, so it starts at 20, and we have that. And the other way I was going to show you is basically exactly the same. I cover it in another tutorial, but I'll just quickly cover it. So let's bring these back to the beginning by clicking them and hitting the square bracket key. Now if I come forward 10 frames, let's say that's how much we want to offset them by, select them all and hold Alt end bracket key, it trims the layers. And now if we selecting creative first and then tutorials last, right click, go to keyframe assistant and sequence layers and click OK. Now it just sequences the layers like so, and you can click to extend them so that they're on for the full time. And it does the exact same thing, just offsets them by that amount. So yeah, now that we're done, what we've covered in this tutorial is basically animating in swinging type. We've put some sort of dashed lines there. If I had more time, I would probably just make them a little bit shorter in my case. But yeah, you've learned the main skill here, which is making text swing in, and just make sure you turn on motion blur for each of them like so, and there you go, you've got that nice little swinging text tutorial. So I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for tuning in. Do give it a subscribe or a like if you can. That'd be very helpful if it helped you. Just help me out. So yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Cheers.